All right, so Thursday for our lesson, we're not really learning anything new. We're going to spend the day reviewing because Friday is the test over the trig graphs and the unit circle. So the class starter is just to write down the domain and range and period for all 6 trig functions, and then we're going to do a unit circle relay, like play a little relay game to practice the unit circle, and then we're going to practice all 6 of our trig graphs, and then if we have time, we're going to graph another tangent and cotangent. So what I need from you today is to make sure that you print a blank one of these pages and you practice your graphs without cheating, because at this point you should have practiced them enough that you can do it, because the test is supposed to be tomorrow on the 6th. If you are back from quarantine, you will take it like everybody else. If you are not, then you will take it Monday or Tuesday of the next week, hopefully. The latest that you're going to be able to take it is next Thursday when we're reviewing sections 4, 5 to 4, 8. We'll have a test on next Friday on what day is that? The 13th. So on the 12th, you will take your unit circle and your parent graph test if we haven't found time the 9th, 10th, or 11th. So make sure that you're studying. Take the time today to practice these graphs. Make sure that you have the domains and ranges down. Make sure that you have the periods, where the asymptotes go, specifically where the points go. I don't need on the test for you to make these tables. I just need the points to be in the right place and the correct shape drawn. So you will literally get this paper back blank, and you have to make all 6 graphs and put all of the information except for the tables of values. Those were just for us thinking it through. All right, so please practice these. All right, we're also going to practice the unit circle. I'm going to split them into 2 teams, and they're going to have a race to see which team can fill in a unit circle first on the board. So what you need to do for that is to make sure that you print a blank unit circle, and you have all of this stuff that you're able to fill it all in. Now, you don't have to put anything in the middle, so you don't need to know these like plus minus ordered pair junk. So anyway, basically you're going to get the same unit circle. You're going to fill in the degrees, the radians, the ordered pairs, and then you have to know the definitions that we put in our unit circle on the unit circle page in our composition book, sorry. So let me see if I can flip to that real fast. So you're going to study the unit circle. You're going to need to know that sine is the y, cosine is the x, tangent is y over x. You're going to need to know the definition of a unit circle and the equation of the unit circle. You're going to need the definition of a radian and the definition of degree. So we've discussed all of this in multiple videos and in class. So make sure that you're studying all of those things. I will have a blank unit circle that looks exactly like the test attached to the Google assignment, so make sure that you print that as well. All right, so some more practice on can I graph tangent with transformations. And again, tangent is most likely what you're going to see on your test. Secant and cosecant I'm not going to put on your test, but you will definitely see sine, cosine, and tangent. That's why we're going to practice more with tangent. And the assignment that you're going to get Friday is going to be graphing sine, cosine, and tangent. Okay, so remember that tangent doesn't really have an amplitude, but we are going to say that it's 1. Okay, so if you're filling this out on a piece of paper, like if it said amplitude in a blank, you would say none, and then remind yourself that it's 1. All right, the period is normally 180, which is pi. And since we're going to divide by 1, it's going to still be pi. Your increments are pi divided by 4, so pi over 4. You can put this in your composition book if you want. It's on the back of that page that had the tangent, cotangent, secant, and cosecant graph, or you can just write this on some paper somewhere. Phase shift. I feel like I'm missing something. No, okay. Alright, phase shift is going to be pi over 4 because you're going to take this x minus pi over 4 that's in parentheses, set it equal to 0, and solve that little equation. Alright, so the other things that we need to know, vertical displacement is 2 because that's this front number that's separated from the tangent with a plus or minus. Your midline is at y equals 2. And then for max and min, technically tangent doesn't have those. But again, we're going to use points and we need to know where they're located. So for the max, we're going to use the point of 3 because 2 plus 1 is 3. And we're going to use the point of 1 because 2 minus 1 is 1. Alright, so draw your x-axis. We're going to start at our phase shift. We're going to add by our increments 4 times. So 1/4 plus 1/4 is a half, plus a fourth is 3/4. So this is 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, and then 5/4. Once you have the x-axis labeled, you can put your y-axis where it goes. Since these were counting by a fourth, I got to go back a fourth to get to 0, so I just spaced it about the same. Your y-axis, you're going to need a 1, a 2, and a 3. Remember that I only label the things that I'm using, and that's just to help me not get confused. Alright, so normally we would start tangent with a point at 0, 0. But we're sliding over to pi over 4, and we're sliding up to 2. So that 0, 0 point is now at pi over 4, 2. Alright, from there, we have a point at 1 and an asymptote. So a point at 1 is now a point at 3 because we've gone up 2. And then we have an asymptote. And then over here, we're going to be a negative 1, which is moved up 2 to 1, and at our 0. So we have a piece that points up, and we have a piece that points down. Alright, so for another one, we have no amplitude. Remind yourself that it's 1 and reflected. For period, we get to use degrees, so we're going to say 180, and it would be divided by whatever's there, but there's a 1 there. So our increments, we're going to take 180 divided by 4, which is what, 45? Our phase shift is going to be negative 45, because if you take x plus 45 equal to 0 and solve, you get negative 45. Vertical displacement, be careful because they stuck it on the end this time, it's negative 2. So your midline is y equals negative 2. Remember that there is no max or min, but we need to remind ourselves that we would do negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1, and we would do negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3. That's where we're going to put our points. Alright, so x-axis is starting at negative 45, and we're going to count by 45. So 0, 45, 90, 135. Okay, that's 4. Alright, put your y-axis through 0. Pretend like I hit 0. We need negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Remember that tangent has an asymptote in the middle. We have a little midline at negative 2. So that counts as our 0 point. So normally we would be at 0, 0. So we're backing up to negative 45 and going down to 2. So that 0, 0 point's here. Alright, and again, normally we would go up, but since we're reflecting tangent, we're going to go down first. And you always like angle towards your asymptote. So our next point will be down to negative 3. And this will curve towards my asymptote. And then so over here we do the opposite. We're at 0, not there, my fault. We're at 0 out here. But this one is going to go up. Alright, tangent is a little more difficult because he doesn't follow like a smooth, you don't connect all of your dots. And so it's kind of hard and people like draw them backwards. So just remember that the outside points are zeros and the middle point is an asymptote. And you have to go towards your asymptote. So we're going to hug it one way or the other. Alright, again, I hope that those are making some sense, and I need for you to please let me know if you have questions so that we can try to fix it and you're not too far behind when you come back. Make sure you're studying for the unit circle and the parent graph test, and also we're going to have a test over sections 4.5 through 4.8 next Friday. So we've covered 4.5 and 4.6. Monday and Tuesday we'll do 4.7 and 4.8. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll review Thursday and take a test on Friday the 13th over the second half of chapter 4. All right, let me know if you have questions about anything.